Snow fell softly across the quiet streets of Vermont, painting the small town in peaceful white beauty. Christmas lights shimmered like tiny stars, wrapping every home in warmth and hope. But inside the cold hallway of St. Mary's Hospital, hope was fading. Emily Carter sat beside her younger brother's hospital bed, her fingers trembling as she gently held his hand. Machines beeped steadily, reminding her that time was running out. Promise me something, whispered Noah, his voice fragile but filled with trust. Emily forced a smile, hiding the storm inside her heart. Anything. Noah's pale lips curved slightly. Promise. This Christmas will feel normal. Just once. I don't want to feel sick anymore. Her chest tightened. Doctors had already said the truth. The surgery he needed was expensive. Impossibly expensive. More money than Emily could ever dream of earning. And Christmas was only 3 weeks away. Across the city, in a world of luxury and privilege, someone else was also desperate for a miracle, but for a completely different reason. A man who had everything, except love. And soon, their worlds would collide, in a story neither of them could have predicted. Because sometimes, Christmas doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what your heart truly needs. Emily Carter's life had never been simple. At just 26 years old, she worked 2 jobs, mornings at a cozy cafe, evenings as a freelance graphic designer. Every dollar she earned went toward hospital, bills and medicine for her younger brother Noah, who had been battling a rare heart condition since childhood. Their parents had died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Since then, Emily had been sister, mother, protector, everything. She barely slept, barely ate properly, but she never complained, because Noah's smile was worth every sacrifice. At the cafe, customers admired her kindness, unaware of the emotional war she fought daily. Emily, honey, you should really take a day off, said Mrs. Thompson, the elderly cafe owner. Emily smiled politely. Maybe after Christmas. But Emily knew the truth. There was no time to rest. Hospital bills had reached $120,000, and the surgery deadline was approaching fast. Without the operation, Noah wouldn't survive another year. That night, Emily opened her laptop, checking her email for freelance work. Nothing. Her savings account balance blinked on the screen. $312.45. Her hands trembled. She whispered quietly to herself, I just need one miracle. Daniel Brooks stepped out of his black luxury car, adjusting his expensive coat as snowflakes touched his hair. CEO of Brooks Enterprises. Net worth, over $900 million. Handsome, intelligent, successful, yet completely miserable. Inside his penthouse apartment, the silence felt heavier than any business pressure. Christmas decorations stood untouched in boxes. He hated Christmas, not because he didn't believe in love, but because love had once betrayed him. 5 years ago, the woman he planned to marry had left him for someone wealthier. Since then, Daniel trusted contracts more than emotions. His assistant Sophia entered the room holding a tablet. Daniel, reminder, your parents' Christmas gala is next week. Daniel sighed. The annual matchmaking event. His mother always hoped he would finally bring someone serious. A perfect girlfriend. Perfect image. Perfect future wife. But Daniel knew most women wanted his money, not his heart. I'm not going alone this year, he muttered. Sophia raised an eyebrow. Oh. Daniel smirked slightly. I'll hire someone. Emily had just finished her shift when her best friend, Lily, rushed into the cafe, excitement glowing on her face. You won't believe this. Emily laughed tiredly. I probably won't. Lily showed her phone screen. An unusual online job listing. Seeking temporary holiday companion. Must attend social events and pretend to be girlfriend. Generous payment, $50,000 for 3 weeks. Emily blinked. This is strange. Lily grinned. Strange, but life-changing money. Emily's heart pounded. $50,000 could cover Noah's medical tests. Maybe more. But what if it's dangerous? Emily asked nervously. Interview first. Decide later. Emily hesitated, then whispered, maybe this is the miracle. Daniel's office overlooked the snowy city skyline. Emily felt small standing inside such luxury. Daniel studied her quietly. Simple coat. Nervous hands. Honest eyes. Different from the women he usually met. You understand this is strictly professional? He asked calmly. Emily nodded. Yes. You'll attend family dinners, charity events, and Christmas gatherings with me. Okay. You must act natural. Convincing. Emily swallowed. And payment? Half upfront. Half after Christmas. Emily's heart skipped. Why me? She asked softly. Daniel answered honestly. You don't look impressed by money. Emily gave a small smile. I don't have time to be impressed. For the first time in years, Daniel felt curious. Pretending to be a couple was harder than expected. Emily struggled with expensive dresses. Daniel struggled with emotions he didn't understand. At their first event, Emily felt overwhelmed by wealthy guests judging her quietly. One woman whispered, "She's clearly not from our world." Emily pretended not to hear. Daniel noticed. He gently placed his hand around her shoulder. "Relax," he whispered. "You're doing perfectly." Emily smiled softly. For a moment. It didn't feel fake. Days passed. They decorated a Christmas tree together. Cooked dinner. Shared childhood memories. Daniel learned Emily loved simple things. Hot chocolate. Snow walks. Old Christmas movies. Emily learned Daniel worked hard to hide loneliness. One night, snow began falling heavily outside. They sat by the fireplace. Emily laughed at Daniel's terrible attempt at baking cookies. "You're a billionaire but can't crack an egg properly." Daniel laughed quietly. Business school didn't cover baking. For the first time in years, Daniel felt warm. Not because of the fire. Because of her, Emily never told Daniel about Noah. She didn't want pity. Or risk losing the job. Every dollar mattered. One evening, she rushed from Daniel's penthouse to the hospital. Noah smiled weakly. "So, your mystery job." Emily sat beside him. "Complicated." Noah chuckled. "You deserve happiness too, Em." She kissed his forehead gently. "I just want you healthy." Outside the hospital window, Christmas lights glowed. Hope felt close. Yet fragile. Daniel's parents hosted their grand Christmas gala. Luxury filled every corner. Emily wore a stunning red dress. Daniel couldn't look away. "You look beautiful," he admitted softly. Emily's heart skipped. "Thank you." During the evening, Daniel's ex-fiancée Victoria appeared unexpectedly. Elegant, confident, dangerous. She whispered to Emily, "You think you belong here?" Emily stayed silent. Victoria smirked. "He never loves anyone for real." Emily's smile faded slightly. For the first time, doubt entered her heart. 2 days before Christmas, Daniel accidentally discovered hospital documents in Emily's bag. Medical reports. Bills. Emergency surgery requirement. $180,000. Daniel felt shocked. Why hadn't she told him? When Emily returned, she found him waiting. "You lied to me," Daniel said quietly. Tears filled her eyes. "I didn't lie. I just didn't want charity." "You needed help." "I needed dignity." Her voice broke. "This job. It's the only way I can save my brother." Daniel felt something shift inside him. Respect. Pain. Admiration. "You should have trusted me." Emily whispered, "I didn't want you to feel obligated." Daniel looked at her with new understanding. "You were never an obligation." Christmas Eve arrived. Snow fell heavier than ever. Emily received a phone call from the hospital. Noah's condition had worsened. Surgery needed immediately. Emily panicked. "I don't have enough yet." Daniel watched her break down. For the first time, he realized something terrifying. He didn't want her to leave. He didn't want this relationship to end after Christmas. Because somewhere between fake smiles and shared memories, he had fallen in love. Quietly, deeply, irreversibly. Christmas morning, Emily rushed to the hospital. Doctors prepared Noah for surgery. She held his hand tightly. "I'm here." Noah smiled weakly. "I knew you'd find a miracle." Emily tried to smile. but fear overwhelmed her. Then, Daniel entered the hospital room. Emily looked confused. How did you? Daniel handed documents to the doctor. The surgery is fully funded. Emily's eyes widened. You didn't have to. Daniel shook his head gently. I wanted to. Tears streamed down Emily's face. But why? Daniel's voice softened. Because loving someone means helping them breathe easier. Emily's heart shattered and healed at the same time, weeks later. Noah recovered successfully. Christmas lights still decorated the town. Emily returned Daniel's payment envelope. I can't accept money for pretending anymore. Daniel smiled softly. Good. She looked confused. Because I don't want you pretending. Silence filled the air. Daniel stepped closer. This started as an arrangement. But somewhere along the way, you became the most real thing in my life. Emily whispered, This isn't your responsibility. Daniel gently held her hand. No. It's my choice. And my heart's decision. Emily's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, she allowed herself to believe in happiness. 1 year later. Snow fell once again. Noah ran happily through the park. Healthy. Laughing. Emily and Daniel watched together. Hand in hand. No contracts. No pretending. Just love. Daniel whispered. Best investment I ever made. Emily laughed softly. What? Taking a chance on Christmas. She smiled. Turns out, miracles are real. Daniel kissed her gently. As church bells rang in the distance. Love felt simple. Peaceful. True. Sometimes life doesn't give us what we expect. But when we choose kindness, patience, and courage, love finds its way. Because the greatest miracles are not found under Christmas trees. They are found in human hearts. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment your favorite moment, subscribe for more emotional love stories. Your support helps bring more beautiful stories to life.